Hello, my name is Lisa Johnson from SquareOne Training. I'm using Microsoft Link to actually record this, and I'm going to give some training and tips on pivot tables in Excel. So I'm just going to minimize this down. I have created an Excel spreadsheet which has sales by customer, what products they buy and when they bought them. And you can see it across the top. I've just got today's date up there. As there's calculations to work out how many days it's been since it's been paid. To create a pivot table, you first of all need data that's consistent. So all the columns have unique headings. There's no blank columns or there's no blank rows. And when you also do this, when you need to create it, you make sure your cursor's under your headings and not above it. So anywhere under this area, you then go to the Insert tab and you choose Pivot Table, and it will automatically grab the range of data that it thinks you've got. If it's different, you can select other data. It's usually right if it's consistent though. And I'm going to put this in a new worksheet, which is the default area, and I'm going to press OK. By doing that, it's going to create the pivot table on the left hand side, and on the right you'll see the pivot table list that's there, which is the headings that is being grabbed from within the data. If you click outside the pivot table, what it's going to do is the field headings are going to disappear. So to get them back again, you simply need to click back to the pivot table area. Okay, over here on the field list, here's the headings that you saw within my spreadsheet. And I want to tick company because that is what I'm interested in analysing. So I'm going to tick that area. And it's going to put the information on the left-hand side, which is called the row. So I'm ticking what I think is what I want to analyse and what I've got a lot of data for. If that's not where you wanted the information, maybe you wanted the customers across the top, you pick up this company row label by moving to it and dragging it to column. It's not going to look very good because I've got too many customers. So I'll put it back again. Just click and drag. Okay, I'm not happy with my field list the way that it's all squashed up on my screen. So I'm going to come up here to this icon and I'm going to choose field selections and areas side by side instead. And that's kind of how I prefer it. I can see more of my headings now, more information. So it's going to make it easier. Okay, so I've got my company ticked and now I want to know how much I invoiced. So I'm going to tick this information. You will see it's put it in values. It's defaulted to sum of values because it knows that that's information like numbers. If we flick back here, it's reading them as numbers and it looks like numbers. So it's actually automatically decided that's how I want it to look on there. If I'm now interested in knowing what the customers have bought, I can tick product. And you can see again it's put it on the left hand side because that's where it defaults to. And if I don't like the layout of that, i.e. it's giving me customers and products underneath each other like that, I can pick the product up on the row label and I can drag that and put that into column. And by saying in column, I'd be saying I prefer them at the top. So immediately you can see the different layout appearing. If the layout that it gives you is not what you're interested in, if you look across the top where we've got options, you've also got a design area. So you can come up to the design and you can pick from different preset pivot table styles. There's many different ones to choose from that you might like on the screen, or there's different options where you can say, I don't want subtotals, I do want them, etc., etc. So that's an analysis of that, and we haven't looked at the report filter yet. So what kind of thing would that give us? All right, this report's giving me the customer spends by product, but not everybody has paid for their goods. So I really need to go and chase people that might owe me, or maybe have a summary of who's paid, who hasn't paid. So paid. I'm going to drag that and drop that to the report filter to put that at the top, because I only want to really summarize one thing. And you can see up here now it's giving me a paid and an all section. So I'm going to click the down arrow here, and I'm going to say, well, actually I'm only interested in who's paid for their goods. So I'm going to select that option. I'm going to press OK. And you can see straight away I've got a summary by customer, what they've bought, and how much I've been paid for the goods to date. Other things that you can do with a pivot that's very useful is you might want to send this to a customer, maybe send the sheet off to them, or just have a report on one particular customer of yours. So if I take Fairfax and James for an example, they've spent 1,306 with me, and if I double click on the amount that they've spent, you can see fantastic, it opens up a separate sheet. You can see down the bottom I've got a sheet 3, and that is an analysis of what they've bought from me, and you can simply enlarge columns or format it or change colors like we did before in the design section. Once you've printed that off, you can then delete the sheet if you don't need it, or you could keep that and rename that as Fairfax and James. But I'm going to right click, delete. Are you sure? Yes, I am. Okay, I'm going to show you one more type of pivot table. So what I'm going to do is keep this original data, but I'm going to untick some of these boxes for you, give you that breakdown. So this time I'm going to say, by customer, how many orders have I had from each customer in my database? So we've got the company or customer there, information there. What you do is you simply hold down your left mouse button and you drag that to values. Very, very powerful. That's what I would like to analyze, and that's what I'd like to add up. And again, straight away I can see now how many orders I've had in total to date and how many times a customer's ordered. That's just the start of pivots. There's many more things you can do with it, but hopefully that gives you a brief introduction of how powerful pivots are, and I really hope you enjoyed that and found that of any use. Thank you for your time. Thank you.